Hello there guys, it's Miss Charlotte and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today I decided to give myself a little bit of a challenge and make a lakeside cabin. Now the cabin itself wasn't too much of a challenge, but making it look like it was sitting on a lake when you can't really make lakes or rivers in The Sims 4 was a little bit of a challenge. So that's what today's speed build was, as request of Boris from Frantic Gaming. So basically the way I did this, or started to do this anyway, I built the shell of the house just so I know what space I needed to be land, because unless you are building it over the sea like in Solani, you can't place buildings over pools, unfortunately. Not as far as I know anyway. So I kind of built the shell of the house and built the entranceway to the house so I know where there was going to be like a little porch and where there needed to be a path, and then I proceeded to build the pool around the house with a little bit of an island as well, because I thought, I don't know, it looked a little bit more realistic if there was like little bits and pieces of land in the middle, so I just went with one little island. Also I decided not to make it completely square, just to make it again look a little bit more like a lakey river thing. But obviously it's not gonna look the most realistic, just randomly in the middle of a massive lake with a house, but that's what we were going for. Also tried to find a lot that was a little bit more remote and you couldn't see neighborhoods surrounding it and stuff, so I'm not sure which one I chose. Well, you can see in the top left which one I chose, to be honest. So yeah, I went in and I decided I wanted a nice stony cabin. I thought about doing wood, but I wanted the inside to be very like wooden in the way it was furnished, so I thought I'd give it a bit of a stony outside to make it look a little bit different to what I normally do, because I feel like whenever I do cabins I do wood on the outside. So I went with two different types of stones just to give the house a bit more dimension and structure, which I think was nice. Also I really tried to kind of push myself in making the shape of the house quite different, which made me have to give some weird roofing, but I think it kind of worked for this build. I was quite impressed, and yeah, I just went for a nice basic brown roof. Then I went in to furnish the windows and doors, and as it was a cabin I kind of wanted it to be kind of old school style, in like windows with shutters. That's why I ended up giving it. And I forgot, I ended up putting in a beautiful little fireplace, which I feel like I haven't put in many builds. And so I made a little makeshift chimney, because I don't really like the chimneys they give you. I'm pretty sure they give you like roof decoration chimneys, but I kind of like building my own because I don't know, it just adds another bit of extra structure to the house, and you can paint it with whatever you want. So I went with that opposite stone that I was using as kind of like an accent stone, and I think it looked kind of cool. I think I made it a little bit shorter, I'm not going to lie, because I kept looking at the house afterwards and was like, it looks really tall and strange. But anyway, so the way I divided the house up into, I decided to actually give it a corridor for once, which I don't really do normally. I went for an open plan living space and kitchen as always. I feel like I need to do more builds without that, but that is like my go-to thing. I love a nice open plan area. And then I went for a master bedroom and a bathroom, and quite a big bathroom actually, just so you can get a lot of things in there and it's not too cramped, because I don't know, I find bathrooms quite difficult to furnish in general, like to look nice, and so I thought I'd give myself a bit of a challenge and make it larger. I was then faffing around with trying to do the foundation paint. I don't know, as you can see, I think it goes, no it doesn't, that's the reflection, isn't it, of the house and the water, because I wanted it to look like it was kind of floating, so I went with this weird kind of decking barge material thing, but then that would probably just fill with water. I don't know, the idea is I guess it would be floating, or it's on a little landmass and I could have put land around it, I don't know, but it's some sort of on the lake cabin. Anyway, but don't worry, it gets a little bit more believable when I go in with all of the different trees and stuff and plants to make it look all very fancy. Yep, just going in and lighting up the area, and then I start working on the inside. So I started with the living space. I wanted it to look really cozy and kind of old school, just kind of like a cabin that has been in like a family for a few years and you go and stay at, like a little log cabin almost, but not a log cabin because it's a stone cabin, but you know, it's fine. fine. I did try and add a few modern details though, like a TV still, and just not too old, but a nice mixture of kind of like nice traditional furniture. That's kind of what I went for. So I had a nice little living room in front of the fireplace, and again just trying to choose some nice wooden furniture to go with it. Also some nice old lampshades. I was trying to debate how old I wanted to make it, because you know you can get really old lamps that just kind of look like the house is falling apart kind of thing, but no, I decided to go with kind of a modern old approach. Don't know what that is, because it's like the most contradicting thing in the world, saying modern and old, but I don't know how to describe it, but hopefully you guys can get the gist from what you're saying, which is fine. And then just going in and putting some cool little furnishings. I feel like this bit of the build always takes me the longest, because I end up scrolling through pages and pages of the small little decorations you can get, and getting distracted and being like, oh, I can put this in this room, and then just floundering about not knowing what I'm doing, because there's loads of things. I wish this was all the miscellaneous decorations and table decorations were categorized more, because I don't know, I find it really chaotic, because there's all sorts in like the one category that like are in loads of different rooms, and like I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, also some really exciting news is yesterday was my birthday, which was super exciting. So sorry if I sound really tired, because we stayed up late playing COD and drinking, and I am a bit shattered, and I feel like I sound like I've just woken up, because I have just woken up, and it's definitely not 10 a.m. in the morning, so it's fine. I guess that's not too bad. But anyway, something really exciting is I got another monitor for my birthday, which means possibly more streaming, since it's going to ease me in doing that, because before I just have kind of the stream running to check like the chat and everything on my phone. So I don't know, we'll see, maybe a few more streams coming, although I always say that and I don't end up streaming, but I definitely want to do more of it, so we shall see. So now I was working here on the kitchen, just doing a bit of greys and browns, and I just didn't really know what colour I wanted to have it. It was quite difficult, and also I just didn't know what counters I was going to use, because normally when I'm doing an old build I use these counters that I ended up using, and I just didn't want to because I wanted to change it up a bit, but I ended up going for a different swatch than I normally do, and trying to make a nice little cozy kitchen with a breakfast bar area, which I feel like I do a lot nowadays. Don't know why, but I don't know, I guess this is always just how I build kitchens in The Sims. But I feel like I need to learn how to experiment more with kitchens, because I don't know, I like to always go for this nice wooden, not too modern kind of approach. Actually, I feel like I do this, like the wooden old school kind of cozy American kitchen, or I do very modern, like I have no in between. But I definitely was a bit more experimental with the counters overhead, not the counters, the cupboards overhead, which I think turned out really nice. And again, just going through the pages and pages of different kitchen decorations that I could come up with, and putting them in there. Some lovely plants, because plants in a Sims build are a necessity, and I love putting them absolutely everywhere, as you guys know if you've been watching. Then I went in try and find some wall decorations. One thing I kind of struggle with as well is finding cool paintings for houses. I don't know, I don't think I'm a fan of the painting selections they have, or even the wall decoration selections, so I find that a little bit difficult, but I came up with some nice kind of traditional paintings to put around in the place. But I kind of covered up a lot of wall space, I think, with massive windows and stuff, so I kind of avoided having to come up with loads of paintings. But as you can see, just going through loads and loads of wall decorations, thinking, what the hell can I put on this wall? But I think I went with a nice painting in the end. And I decided for the corridor, I thought it'd be cool to put little framed things of I think one is like my first simoleon or stuff like that, and one's like a medical certificate, just like kind of like achievements in the corridor, because I know a lot of families do that. I know we used to have that when we were younger, like not on the walls, well on the upper skirting board we'd have like trophies from stuff. I don't know, I thought it was quite cute, so that's what I went for. I also wanted a little kind of entranceway door mat kind of thing, but I kind of wanted it to stretch into the living space a bit, just to cover some floor space, so it wasn't all just like loads of open wood looking a bit boring. So I just want to put a rug there. But now moving on to the lovely bathroom, I decided to go for a nice peach one, because I feel like peach ones are really easy to do with the swatches of bath stuff you have. The only swatches I struggle with a lot are the showers. I feel like it's so hard to match showers with toilets and sinks and baths. I don't know, it's just the showers. I just don't like them. But again, I went for the kind of old wooden kind of style. And I wanted to put these cute little shell lights everywhere. I didn't go ahead with it for some reason, but I remember, I think my grandma had those kind of lights in her bathroom or somewhere in her house, and I don't know, it just reminds me of a kind of old school style, because that's kind of what her house was styled with a little bit. But just putting some nice accents in, little miscellaneous bits and bobs. Kind of went for a grey and beige theme in the bathroom in the end, so some grey woods and stuff, and then kind of peachy beige kind of neutral colours with the toilet and bath and stuff like that, which I kind of liked. And then just adding some towels in, because you need towels. I wish, no, I don't wish it was playable actually for them to use the towels. But I feel like I'm glad they do put in little things like this to make it look, well, at least appear more realistic rather than be realistic. I do like that about The Sims, like the little soap dispenser and stuff, although I never use that because like you can't really sit things on top of sinks really, unless you make a counter, I guess. I never do that actually, use a counter and then put a sink in it. I feel like I should do that more in builds. Anyway, this is all I'm doing in all my videos, just, oh, I don't do that, I should do that. But what I do, which I am doing here, is just adding loads of plants in the bathroom. I really do think in real life and in game it's so nice to have plants in a bathroom. I don't know why. It just kind of spruces it up a bit, and I don't know. It makes sense in my head. I do like, but I feel like I'm biased anyway because for some reason I have a plant problem and I really like plants. That's probably what it is, but it's fine. Everything is fine. This is why all of my builds are absolutely covered in plants, but it's fine. But anyway, moving on to our lovely master bedroom. I didn't want to make it a 2-story house and put in multiple bedrooms, and I didn't want to make it really flat and massive and have multiple bedrooms. So this cabin is just kind of like a couple's cabin with 1 master bedroom and 1 bathroom, which I think is fine, because I guess most of the time I know people to play Sims, you play with a couple at first, or at least one person, so it's definitely not a family build, but well, I guess you can have a little cot. You can stay with your baby here, and then once they're a toddler, get out. That's pretty much the build intention, apparently. But I was just working on the bedroom here, putting some nice flowers. I went for quite an adventurous theme to it. I really like this wallpaper. I've come to really like it. I normally don't like busy wallpapers, especially in bedrooms, but I went and paired it with quite a busy looking bed set, like the quilt cover and stuff, but I think it actually kind of matched. So just kind of like neutral beige and green and kind of yellows kind of themed bedroom. That's what I went for, but it kind of worked. Like, I really did like it. I wanted green to kind of be a theme in this house, like I did the living space a little bit green with the sofas and stuff, because I think greens and woods, like really nice dark oak woods in The Sims, go so well together. So that's kind of what I went for. And I was just juggling around the dresser and having this little poof at the bottom of the bed, which I thought was quite cute, and then I thought I'd go in with a nice carpet just so it jazzes up the room, because I hate using carpets in The Sims. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the swatches or the texture. I just really don't like carpets, so I ended up switching it out actually for a different wood. But I'm gonna grow to love carpets hopefully, because I need to be more adventurous in my builds. That's what I've learned, because I don't want to be doing the same old builds all the time for you guys to watch and just for me to do, because I don't know, it's fun being a bit more adventurous. Like, this was a little bit out of my comfort zone in terms of like the shapes of the house and like the whole idea of trying to make it a massive lake cabin. So yeah, I was quite chuffed with it though. I think it went very well. Hopefully you will enjoy the end product. I then went to just kind of edit the surrounding lake that I intended on building and just kind of made it a little bit more jagged. So again, it didn't look so much like a pool when I went and decorated it at the end. And then I decided to work on the path / porchy area kind of leading up to the house. So I decided to make the whole thing stone, but then I went back and added a little bit of soil because I added some nice plants, just so you couldn't really see the edge of the pool, because that's the one thing that's like a dead giveaway. When you can see the edge of it, it definitely doesn't look like a lake. But I do go and add the side of the pool to be like a dark brown to help it a little bit, just to help my case a tiny bit, which I guess it kind of did. But now just working on some lovely plant areas, making the little island in the middle with some nice terrain paint of soil. I thought I'd do it for all the trees, like loads of soil, but then it was just like kind of a lot of effort, so I didn't do that in the end. Then for the main massive bits of straight edges of the pool, I decided to put these long hedges just so I didn't have to decorate every single inch of it, because I felt like it might look too messy and not really realistic, because you don't really get a long line of plants like that. So I just went with the long hedge, and then just very nice clusters of plants everywhere really. I did some of those massive reedy things that typically you find near water, so I guess that added a bit to the realism, but I had like accents of the lavender everywhere. I think it's lavender, those plants. I always think they are lavender, as well as just like loads of greens, bushes, and a few white flowers, which I think was nice. Didn't want to go for anything too colourful except from the lavender, because I thought it might look a bit too crazy, but I really did like it. It ended up looking quite natural, and I don't know, I think it kind of worked. I also added some rocks and stuff to make it look a little bit more realistic. I don't know, I felt like it was just a balance of trying to find out what was too much and what looked realistic enough to be a lake, but I think it kind of worked. Then I started looking at the porch and realised the wood didn't kind of match and I didn't like it, so I gave that a little bit of change in colour, including the stairs, and then I wanted to spruce up the front of the house a bit. I thought the house looked really plain in comparison, so I thought I'd decide to add some really nice flower beds, but not flowers, just kind of like the planty ones, because I think those are so nice. And then of course more plants for the front of the house, because you can't get enough plants. I was trying to use plants that I don't normally use, because I've always have like my staple plants that I always use in all builds, and I don't want the same plants that I used on the inside. So I decided to have kind of like an asymmetric style of having one plant on the wall, like in a little kind of baskety thing. I don't know what you'd call that for some reason, it's escaped my brain. And then another little plant on the floor just to make it look a little bit snazzy, and then just putting the mailbox along the path, but I decided to put the bin just on the porch for some reason, which I guess would be nasty and smelly, but it's fine, kind of look nice. I also wanted to add a little decoration, or maybe a window at the peak above the door for the front of the house on the roof, but I don't know, I didn't think a window would suit and I couldn't find something nice, but I did try and put a bit of like roof decoration, but decided to just squash the peak down instead, and that's kind of what I went for. But now just going in with some nice terrain paints, and that was it. I did add a few things off camera, like some lights lining the path to the house, but that was it. I was really actually impressed with this build. I think it looks beautiful over the water, so I hope you guys liked it. If you did, leave it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for videos every Wednesday and Saturday. I hope you guys are having a lovely day, evening, afternoon, or whatever, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!